Okay, I'm recording again now. For some reason, as I said right before I turned on the recording, for some reason I got kicked off, and then that also stopped the recording. Okay, so now you should all have a block, a Lego brick on your computer, and I want you to just move around and view it from different sides. View it from the front side, from the right side. Hold down your mouse button, right click on it, and view it from all different angles there. Okay. All right. So is everybody able to move around and view this thing from all the different angles? So type in yes if you can view it from different angles. Type in no if you're having trouble. Okay, good. All right, so Valerie, you're having a little trouble. Can you describe to us the trouble that you're having? So first off, Valerie, are you using a Chromebook or are you using an actual computer? Oh, okay. Valerie is saying she doesn't have a mouse. Okay. Okay, so yeah, if you don't have a mouse, that's going to mess things up. With the trackpad, yeah, I can't really do it with the trackpad. So Valerie, all I can say is, oh, you can double click with the trackpad. Not with mine, you can't. Okay, maybe you've got a different trackpad.
You can
wait.
move around with that box too.
Yeah, definitely with the box. But yeah, Valerie, for sure, by using the box.
Sorry. Yeah, for me, you can just put 2 fingers down and then press on the trackpad, and then
okay.
it's the same as right clicking.
Okay, so it looks like everybody's computer is slightly differently in terms of how the trackpad works. So Valerie, if you don't have a mouse, don't worry about it right now. But if you can get a mouse for future use, that'll make the things a whole lot easier. Okay, so now let's learn some of the things that we can do with Tinkercad. So first thing is, I want to change the color. Because you may recall that when I looked at my screen before, I had a red Lego block, and when we import it, it comes in this kind of a brownish gray type color. So first thing we're going to do is just change the color. All right, so if you click on this, now be careful once you click and you see all these little handles come up here, don't mess with those handles, because if you mess with those handles, it's going to change the shape, which is something we'll do in just a little while. But you see how you get this new window that comes up here? And so I've got the option of solid or whole. If I click on solid, it allows me to change it to any color I want. So let's have it be orange, or if you prefer green or blue, whatever color you want. So go ahead and change your brick. So I don't like the blue there. I think I'm going to go with orange. I like orange. But you guys can make it be whatever color you want. Okay, so now we've got this different color here. All right. So how could we create a Lego brick from scratch, right? So what I want to do here is I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Okay, I'm going to click on the brick just one time, and then I want to move the brick around. Now I have to be careful, because if I hover over these little squares here, you see what happens when I hover over them. Okay, so if I accidentally click on there and drag it around, okay, I've just messed up my brick big time. And then I say, uh-oh, I wish I hadn't done that. Well, luckily there's a recover button. You see this button that I'm hovering over right there that says, it says undo, and you can see the shortcut for that is Control Z. Okay, so if you accidentally mess up your brick, then you can undo it like that. Okay, so now what I do is I'm going to click somewhere that's not in those little squares. I'm just going to move the brick off to the side here. Okay. So I want to create a Lego brick, but I want to do it totally from scratch. Okay, so if you come over on the right side, you'll see these are a bunch of basic shapes, and we can pull these shapes in to the work plane if we want. So I'm going to start with the box, and I want you guys to follow along and do this too. So I'm going to click and drag, and it's going to bring a box into the work plane for me. Okay. And so there's my box. All right. Now you can see the box is the wrong shape. It's a square and I don't want a square. So what I can do then is now if I click on it, now is a good time to play with these guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these guys so that it's roughly the same size and shape as my Lego brick. Okay. Not exactly, but close. Okay. And by the way, if I want to center both of the objects on the screen, if I click on the object on the left, and then I hold down my shift key and I click on the object on the right, so now both of them are selected. If I come over and if I click this button right here, the one that says fit view to selected shapes, it'll automatically center them. Okay, so you can see that my red brick is a little bit smaller than my Lego. So let's make it be a little bit bigger. And if I look at it from the top, yeah, it's not bad. If I put them side by side, it's a little easier to see. Okay. Now, if your red block is a little bit too tall or too thin, you can click on this block right. You click on that on this square right here, and that's how you make it taller or skinnier. Okay, so now they're both about the same that way. Now, if I look at it from the top, now if I click here, so now I can make it be, different sizes. Okay, so now I've got the two bricks so that they may not be exactly the same, but they're pretty close. All right. Okay, now how about these little nubs, the little dots on the top? How do you suppose we do that? Well, if you come over to all these shapes here, you'll see that one of these shapes is a cylinder. So I'm going to click and hold, and I'm going to drag it in here, and now I've got a cylinder. Now that cylinder is way bigger than the cylinder that I want. Okay, so let's make it be a little smaller. And if you click on this fit shape here, it brings it into the center. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this over here, and I'm going to put it alongside the alongside my nub. And okay, so you can see I'm still a little bit bigger than I want to be. Okay, now I'm about the right size. Okay, maybe a little bit too big still. We'll make it a little smaller yet. Okay, so now they're pretty close to being the same size. Not perfect perhaps, but they're close. Okay, and now if I look at it from this angle, you can see, oh, it's way too tall. All right, so I need to make it be not so tall. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to bring it down shorter. Okay, so it's about the right height now, but it's too low. So how do I get it up in the air? Well, you see this black triangle? If you click on the black triangle, you can lift it up into the air. And so now if I come here, oh, you can see it's a little bit too small. Let me make it just a little bit bigger. Okay, and yeah, that's pretty good. I like that, but I want it over here, not in the first place. Okay, so I'm thinking good. Okay, I now have a little nub on top of my Lego brick. It may not be in exactly the right place, but it's close. And so later we'll learn how to position things exactly, but for right now, all we need to do is just get them somewhat close. Okay, but that's only one, and I need 7 more of them. So what I could do is I could drag in another cylinder and then do the same things with this cylinder, but there's an easier way. So let me get rid of this guy that I just dragged in here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on him and I'm going to hit the delete key, and away he goes. There's an easier way to get the other ones. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on here one time, and then I'm going to come up to this option right here that says duplicate and repeat. And by the way, the keyboard shortcut for it is Control D. So I can either click here or do Control D. Now, it may not be obvious, but it has now created a new one. So what I can do then is I can now bring that one over here, and you'll see, I'll bring it over just a little bit more. Okay, there we go. Now I have 2 nubs. Now watch this one. This next one is really good. So I'm going to click on this guy, and I'm going to hold down my shift key. And I'm going to click on the left guy. So now I have both of them selected. So now if I do duplicate, it duplicates both of them. So I can bring it over here like that. So now I have 4 bricks or 4 dots. So now if I click on this one and okay, that kind of gets annoying there. Let me move it over here. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to hold down the shift key and click this, hold down the shift key and click this, hold down shift key, click this. And now I'm going to duplicate that. And then I'm going to move it over there. And voila, I have a Lego brick. So I want all of you guys to do the same thing now. And when you have it done, I want you to tell me in the chat box that you have it done. And then what I will do is I will enable sharing so that you guys can all share your screen. In fact, there it is. It's enabled now. Okay. So I want whoever can get your Lego brick done first, tell me you've got it, and then go ahead and turn on your sharing and you can get it. Okay, so Yusuf wants to see how I put the top, how I put it on top of the cylinder. You mean on top of the rectangle? Okay, so what I had before, oops, you see what I just did? I messed it up. So if I just do undo, then we can fix that. Okay, so I'm going to click over here and I'm going to try not to click one of the others. Okay, so when I first created the thing, it was down here on the floor. And it was way too tall, right? Okay, so what I did to make it be not so tall was I clicked on the white square and I bring it down here until it's the height that I want. And then when I click on it, you see that black triangle? Okay, the black triangle is what lifts it up above the ground. And once I get it to the height that I want, then what I can do is then I can drag it over here and I can put it over here where I want it to go there. Does that answer your question, Joseph? Okay, good. All right, so Keeler tells me he has it. So Keeler, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Can you go ahead and share your screen there?
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So
okay, so we're looking at it from the bottom. So right click and
it's
move.
not. Oh,
okay,
you can
good.
see it's not exactly.
Well, that's okay. For right now, that's good enough. Okay, I see a brick with 8 dots on it, and the size is a little bit off, but as I said, I don't care about the size. Good job, Keeler. You got it.
Awesome.
Okay, who else has it? Adam, you say you've got it. Okay, can you share your screen with us?
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
It's kind of big, but
that's okay. I mean, I'm not worried about the size right now. I'm just worried about getting it approximately right. Okay, very good. All right, Adam, congratulations. All right, who else? Okay, Joseph, are you saying, okay, you've got it? So, or no, you're just saying, okay, I answered your question. Oh, so Joseph, you do have it. Okay, Joseph, would you share yours with us then, please? Let's see what you've got. And then Max, you'll be next. And then KJ, you'll be after Max. Oh, Joseph is saying he's not finished. Okay. All right, so Max, you're up. Can you share your screen with us, Max?
Yes, I can. Keeler,
That's-
can you turn everything off?
That's why we had headphones, is so we don't get that weird echoing.
Oh, sorry. All right, here we
That's
go.
okay. All right, let's see what you got. Very nice. Okay, very good. All right, KJ, you're next. Wow, okay, very nice, KJ. Yeah, that looks good. And it looks like your size is really well done too. The two of them look like they're exactly the same size. Okay, let's
I
just
tried to get them as close as possible.
and it shows you did a great job there. Let's just do one more and then we'll move on. So Silas, can you show us yours? Silas, are you there? Can you turn on your sharing? Ah, okay. Oh, it looks like he started to do the cylinder underneath too. Oh, okay. All right. Very good, Silas. I like that. Okay, so go ahead and stop sharing. Okay, so Valerie, you're saying you can't get the nub thing on the rectangle. Okay. Well, Valerie, the fact that you don't have a mouse is making yours really tough. When you get a mouse, I think you'll find that it's a lot easier to do. Okay, now, next thing I want you guys to do, if you look at it from the bottom, okay, you can see that the Lego brick that you imported from me, it was hollow. And then inside that hollow space, we've got a couple of rectangles there, right? But the thing that we just created, it's not hollow. So how can we make something be hollow? Well, here's how it works. This is pretty clever. You see, I've got a box here. On the lower part, I've got a red box, and on the upper part, I have a box that's got these funny stripes on it. That is representing an empty box. So if I drag an empty box into here, okay, what it does is the empty box is going to subtract out area from where we don't want it to be. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my empty box, and I'm going to make it be so just a little bit shorter than the box that I want. And I'm going to make it so that it's just a little bit less in all of the dimensions over here. Okay, so you see what I'm doing here? Okay, I'm going to, right. So now this box, which is labeled as being a hole, is, so if I look at it from above, you can see it's just a little bit smaller than my red box. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that box so that it's inside my red box. Oops, looks like my width here is off. Let me fix that. Okay. Okay, so now that box is inside. Now, if I look at it from the bottom, it's a little bit easier to see here. Okay, so I'm going to make that be just a little bit bigger there. Make that be just a little bit bigger there. Okay. All right. So you see, so this box, which represents a hole, is inside my Lego box. Now, everybody stop what you're doing and watch what I'm about to do, because this is really important. So right now, if I click on the box, that's the empty box, okay, it's selected. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down my shift key and I'm going to click on the red box. So both of them are now selected. And now watch closely what I'll do. I'm going to come up to this little icon right here that says to group them together. And you can see the keyboard shortcut for that is Control G. Watch what happens when I group them together. Bingo. I now have an empty box. You see how that works? Okay. All right, so my Lego brick is now empty. And so what I did was I got a hole. Okay, so now if I want to get these cylinders here, what I can do is I can bring in another cylinder. So let me back off here. So I can bring in a solid cylinder, and then I can bring in a hole cylinder, and I can make the whole cylinder be a little bit smaller than my solid cylinder. Put them together like that. Okay, so it's not great, but close. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on both my cylinders. I'm going to group them together. Now I have a hollow cylinder. Okay, now the hollow cylinder is probably not the right size, but that's okay. I'll make it be the right size, and it's too tall. So what I'll do is I'll bring it down here. Okay, and it's still a little bit bigger than I would like. Okay, and now I just move it inside to here, and then play with the size and reposition it where I want it to be. Oops, wrong one. Okay. Okay, and there we go. And then I just duplicate that twice. Oops. You got to be careful when you grab, it's easy to grab the wrong one there. Okay. And then duplicate it one more time. Oh, I keep grabbing the wrong one. Got to be really careful with that. Okay, I trust you guys are doing this too at the same time. Okay, there we go. Now the position isn't, maybe not as great as we'd like, but it's, it's basically there. It's close. Okay. All right. Now I purposely mispositioned that because I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you something really cool in a second. It's easy to align them all. Okay. But you see how I now have my cylinders on the inside there. Okay. So Giovanni's asking, how do I select two objects at a time? What you do is you click on one object and then you hold down the shift key and then you click on the other object. That's the answer to your question. Okay, so Joseph is saying that your box just disappeared. So Joseph, what you want to do is come up to the undo button and just undo it. Okay, now, everybody, I want you to watch really closely, and I'm going to show you something that's really important. So everybody stop what you're doing for just a second. All right, so these three cylinders that I've got, you see how they're not aligned properly. They're kind of scattywampus, which is a word that my dad used to use. Okay, so watch what I'm about to do, because this is really cool. I'm going to click on the one. I'm going to hold down the shift key. I'm going to click on the other. I'm going to hold down the shift key. I'm going to click on the third one. So all three of them are selected. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to this icon, which says align. Okay, so if I click on that, now I get a bunch of dots. So what I can do is I can align them so that they're all aligned like that. Okay, and so now you can see they're all in a line. Now this guy is still a little bit too close to his friend, so let's move him up there. Okay, and so now let me redo it again, because when I moved him, I might have messed something up. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to align again, and bingo, there we are. Okay. Now, if you look here, you see the cylinders are sticking up a little bit too high. They're kind of interfering with that. So what I can do then is I can just lower that down just a little bit. And okay, so if I'm just lowering the cylinder down ever so slightly. There you go. Okay, voila. I have a Lego brick. Okay, everybody see how that worked? All right. Now, your homework tonight is not to make a Lego brick. Your homework tonight is something that's not really any harder. In fact, to be honest, I think that the homework that I gave you tonight is actually easier. Okay, so everybody please stop what you're doing for a second. And let's go back into Canvas and let's take a look at what is your homework for tonight. Okay, so if you come down here, so CAD assignment number 1, traffic light, that is your homework for tonight. So if we click on this, then you can see, so what I have here are 2 traffic lights. So, we've got the red, green, and the yellow lights. The one on the left is the basic traffic light that will be really easy, and I think all of you will be able to do it. The one on the right is a more realistic traffic light. It's basically just the traffic light on the left, but it's got the shades over it, because real traffic lights, they have shades over them like this. Okay, so for your homework tonight, I want you to use Tinkercad to create a traffic light similar to the one that's shown on the left. Okay, so the easier one is the one that you are required to do. Why is my annotation not turning on here? Okay, so this is the one that everybody must do. This one over here, this is optional. In other words, it's extra credit. Okay, so the only difference between the one on the left and the one on the right is these little shady things here. So what I did to create them was I took a cylinder, okay, and then I put a hole inside of it, okay, and then I cut it off at an angle. If I tell you how to do it, then it's not deserving of extra credit. So I'm going to leave it for you guys so that you guys can see how it's done. But let me just show you my my CAD file here. So if I go, if we look at this in Tinkercad, then we'll be able to zoom in and zoom out, and you should be able to see how it works. Okay, so here's my traffic light. So I'm going to tinker that. Sorry. Okay, there we go. Okay, so if we zoom in, okay, you can see this is how it works. Okay, this is the extra credit traffic light on the right here. So on the left here, this is what you guys need to do. So all you have to do is make a black rectangle that has red, yellow, and green cylinders on either side of it, and a black cylinder up on the top. Okay, so the simple the simple traffic light without the shades, that's the one that's the required assignment. If you want to get extra credit, okay, then you can do the one with the shades, but that's not required. That would be extra credit. Okay, does everybody understand what the homework assignment is? All right. Okay, so we have what, about 20 minutes left. All right, so I want you guys to use that 20 minutes to make me a traffic light. Oh, one very important thing. How do you submit the traffic light? Don't leave yet. Okay, how do you get credit for doing the job? Okay, so here's how you get credit for it. If you look in the upper right of the screen on Tinkercad, you'll see there's a button here that says export. Okay, so once you have your traffic light done, come up here to where it says export. So you click on that, and then you'll see you have several different options for how you want to export it. Okay, the option that you should use is the STL option. Okay, so click on that option right there. Okay, and then when you click on that, what you'll get is it'll download. So if you're using Chrome, you can see down in the corner here. So it just downloaded a file that's in what they call STL format. Okay, and so if you were to go into your downloads folder, you'll see that that downloads folder is there. Okay, so now what you guys need to do is just upload that file right there. Okay, so if you go into your downloads file, so in Canvas, when you click submit, it'll ask you for the file. So just go into the downloads file and send me the STL file that you just submitted. Okay. So does everybody now know what you need to do? You know what the assignment is, you know how to download the assignment, and then how to upload it to Canvas. Yes? Okay. All right, well, then if that's the case, you can go ahead and type bye into the chat box, and I will see you guys on Wednesday. Now, those of you that I need to talk to about your submission, because your homework submission that was due today wasn't quite what I wanted, I want you guys to stick around so we can talk. I'll go ahead and turn off the recording so we can talk without it being recorded.